Hello, everybody, and welcome back. I just realized I was talking to myself because I never hit the record button. So I'm going to do this all over again. So last week I decided I was going to cover the Summer of Gaming Game Fest events going on, the E3 season, because as you all know, E3 got canceled, and so they decided to do a lot of digital presentations. So I started doing that last week, and so I kind of stopped. So I'm going to very quickly go uh, the events that I missed, mainly the ones for Saturday. What just happened to my phone? Mainly the ones for Saturday because that's when they had like five different events and they were all super long. So first off, the Escapist Indie Showcase post show. I already covered like the Escapist Indie Showcase Direct. This is the post show, which was mainly developer talks. I'm not a big fan of developer talks, but they did have a lot of in-depth gameplay, so that's cool. If there was a game that stood out to you that you wanted to know more about, that was your bet. And they all had a schedule, so it was easy to follow and see the games that you were curious about. Overall, I don't recommend that someone sit down and watch a whole 3 day thing or 4 day event. I don't remember, but it's appreciated that it was there. Up next, we have the Gorilla Collective, and the Gorilla Collective had a lot of good games and some depth talk. So it was kind of that mix of trailer, depth talk, trailer, depth talk, trailer. So it was again swing and a miss. That were mainly into games. I appreciated some of them, others I didn't care. You guys know the drill. I didn't like everything, but I appreciated the presentation. I liked it, not as much as the Indie Direct. The Escapist Indie Showcase Direct, but I enjoyed it. Up then we had the Paradox Insider, and the Paradox Insider came immediately after the Gorilla Collective, and I didn't really like it. And I want you guys to know I'm not being critical or trying to be mean. E3 got canceled. We were gonna have nothing, and so these companies came together and presented a show. It was a show that they had to prepare while working at home. So I'm taking that with a grain of salt. I'm not just saying this is the worst thing ever. No excuses. I'm just saying it could have been better if the world was different. So I get it. So that was the Paradox Insider. I think they mainly showed up six games, and I didn't really care much for them. Then we had the PC Gaming Show, which was probably the biggest event on Saturday, and the PC Gaming Show was just, I don't know. I felt like it had so much potential, and it didn't quite live up to the hype. I did like that there were like these little segments that were over the top and comedic and trying too hard. And I want you guys to understand they were trying too hard. Some of the jokes fell flat for me, but it was still appreciated that they were having fun with it. It felt like the old Nintendo Directs with Reggie. Not all the jokes were great, but we're glad they put him in there. And so that's kind of how I felt about the PC Gaming Show. They had a lot of great announcements, most of which I won't play because they didn't speak to me, but I loved their enthusiasm. And then lastly, for Saturday, we had the Future Game Show, which felt like a direct, like a futuristic direct. I loved the aesthetic and the looks, but it was mainly focused on trailers. It did have, I think, some depth text, but it was mainly trailers, and I actually saw a lot of stuff there that I was excited. So yeah, so Guerrilla Collective and Future Game Show, I enjoyed a lot. And with that said, I'm gonna show off very quickly some trailers that spoke to me. The first one, as you can see on the screen, it's been there for a while. Gestalt, Steam, and Cinders. I'm gonna start playing it. Hopefully, it starts without slowing anything down. So, as you can see, it's a sprite art game. It looks beautiful. I have no, I love what I'm seeing. Um, so yeah, as someone who grew up with the Super Nintendo era, okay, the volume is way too loud on this thing. Someone who grew up in the Super Nintendo era, this takes me back, and it's gonna sound weird, but the gameplay footage reminds me of the Game Boy Advance version of Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Man's Chest, which was a game that wasn't as terrible as it sounds. Typically, movie-based games on the Game Boy Advance were not very good, but that one surprisingly had a lot of love poured into it. And this game is giving me those vibes, those Metrovania RPG vibes, and yeah, I really plan on picking this up. I definitely downloaded the demo, so I might put a video of that soon. But yeah, this is definitely a game that I will be checking out. So up next we have Dustborn announcement, and this game looks very interesting, very new, very fresh. I don't really get what's going on, but I was excited during the trailer, and I'll definitely consider picking this up. And why did it freeze on me? All right, so we're moving again. So yeah, the trailer looks no, it's freezing again. But as you can see, they're on a bus and they're gonna go, I guess, cross country to do something. I don't know what it is. It looks pretty cool. I'm excited, and I guess I'm gonna go ahead and skip because the video keeps freezing. All right, so the next one is called Chris Tales, which is an RPG, and I thought it looked pretty adorable and interesting. And why do we have ads going on right now? This game also appears to have. Hang on a second. There we go. Also seems to have a Steam demo. You jump back and forward in time. So I thought it was interesting and definitely worth a pick, and it froze, but that's okay because I think we've seen enough. Moving on. So I noticed there were a lot of skateboard games announced this season, like Skater XL, Skatebird, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. And this one stood out to me because it seems to be an action adventure game where the main method of combat is by doing tricks on a skateboard. And while I'm not particularly a fan of this genre, I can appreciate it being there. And you can't even appreciate it because it's free. All right, let me see if it records better now. No, I don't know what's wrong with my laptop today. It doesn't seem to want to run these games. The video works fine, but the second I turn on the recording on OBS, it freaks out. So, anyways, it's a skating game with action involved. I thought it was pretty cool concept. And the last game I'm gonna show you guys called Say No More, and basically you work in an office and you have to say no to people who request things of you. I thought it was a very clever concept. I don't think we really have games about saying no, or where the mission is to reject everything that is asked of you. So yeah, there was a lot of indie games showed off. These particular ones jumped out at me. Again, I love indies because they're always innovating the scene and they're doing things that AAA companies would never dare do. Like in this one, I don't think anyone would ever make a game about saying no, at least not with a big budget. But these people did, and kudos for them. I may actually play this game. It sounds very, very interesting. There were also a few other announcements that happen in the upcoming days, and I'll talk about them later. So yeah, one thing that I'm just gonna mention because I don't feel like showing off the trailer was the unveiling for Madden 2021. I don't care much for sports, and I don't care much for sport-based video games. So, eh, it's Madden. You know, it is what it is. That was announced, and then there was a Pokemon Presents. I think I'll record my reaction to that later because I have a few more things to say about that one. So that'll be its own separate video. So yeah, these are my reactions of the events that happened between Saturday and Monday. And yeah, I guess that's it. Eli Gray over and out.